and then I've just got to. I think it says setting up, so should be
setting up. There's lots of
setting
little like
up.
hamsters in the background, spinning on wheels,
Getting
ready
this
for
live
the
stream on the
log hour.
go.
Yeah, I look like a grandpa in this cardigan jumper thing.
All right,
you got your work, like, you know, like you're gonna go
my
work in a
workwear.
garage. Yeah, like a mechanic.
Ready to do some manual labor. No, I've just it's good because it's got lots of pockets.
Ah, yeah.
And like when I'm out with Luca, not that I've been out with him because he's been ill, but that's why I got it. Yeah.
I hear pockets are a thing for women. They always in the hunt for pockets.
Yeah.
Naturally get pockets.
We don't get as many pockets as you do. I think that's changing though.
Yeah.
It's
pocket
progressing.
Equity.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, we're live. Hello. Hello. Yes.
Okay.
So
oh, yes, I can see
people
it.
just got that little bit of pocket combo there. How are you, Matthew Murray?
I'm very well, Lucy Lumen. It's the middle of winter here, so I've been a little bit ill earlier in the week, and I'm a little bit stuffed up now. How are you? A bit congested? How are you?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. We've had illness in the family here, like Luca. We haven't got anything, which has been good, but yeah, he's been really sick, like high temperature, been very stressed this week, but he's better now, so that's good.
Well,
and
good
yes, and hopefully next week it'll be like back to normality. It's very hard when you don't get any relief, like childcare. I was thinking when because he was home with me and I was trying to work, I was like, oh my God, COVID must have been so hard for people, like having their kids home. And then like if they were working from home and they were also trying to do the educating like from home thing.
Yeah, we did it. Like our kids are a little bit older. Like, I don't know how old my son might have been in grade 4 or grade 3, but trying to actually get the kids to do the workbook instead of, you know, watching YouTube or playing a game was pretty, you know, you actually literally had to spend all the time with them, you know, and sit there with them for 2 hours. So anyway, we're reminiscing like that was 20 years ago. It was only like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Things feel so like different now. We sort of zoomed past that, but
yeah.
Anyway, hello to everybody. Thank you for joining the chat. It's morning here, so I feel like we're still kind of like we're waking up. We're getting into it. But we've got lots to talk about today. We've got a new film stock, a new camera. We've got a new feature on Instagram that I'm sure everyone is excited to talk about. And then we will probably recap a little bit on the camera fair as well that we were both at.
That was the day after our last
I think so. Yeah.
It feels like so long ago. That does. Hey,
it does, doesn't it? Like it feels like ages ago. Yeah. And a couple of other things I'm sure that will pop up. So let us know where you're watching from. Say hello in the chat and let us know your thoughts on any of these things or anything that you want us to kind of bring up as we go. But did you want to start a little bit with what you've been shooting, Matt? Like what you've been doing photography-wise?
I only just sent down 10 rolls down to Ikigai. 2 of the rolls are actually from my nephew. My nephew went to New Zealand with my mum and dad, went, you know, grandma and grandpa trip, and he's like 22 or 23 or something. And he took a little Minolta film camera and he shot 2.5 rolls of film. So
that's so fun.
He shot's pretty good. So I sent them down to Ikigai along with 7 other rolls, just mainly testing cameras before I sell them. But one of the rolls I got back was from, remember this little fella, Lucy?
Oh, Pingu.
Well, actually, it's Pingo. It's a rip-off.
Pingo, sorry.
It's actually a really cool camera. It produces extremely, I mean, who knew? It produces extremely dreamy, soft kind of images. Like sometimes these cameras are just plain old crap.
They are, yeah.
Pingo's got a little bit of something to him.
He's got a little bit of je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, a bit of je ne sais quoi, little Pingu. So so I'm loving a good old Pingo. You know what? These days I'm really into either really cheap plasticky toy cameras that are crap or really expensive cameras. And all the others in between, I'm
You're not interested.
Selling. No,
you're like low, high.
Yeah,
and nothing in between. Okay,
so I've been doing that, and I shot another roll of my Contax TVS, but I just don't get on with it. Lovely cam, actually, really fun shooting it. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna get rid of that one as well. So
okay, you're doing a bit of a cull. We've been shooting a lot, mostly for work.
Yep.
Like for clients or something like that. So I did just get I think 6 rolls back though that were personal, but they weren't super exciting because they were testing cameras that we bought at the camera fair. So the Samurai, the half frame camera that we got, which is an interesting one to handle and use. Like the ergonomics of it are very strange, and I didn't have the best time using it, but I'll do a full video on it. And the photos actually looked quite, I was like, oh, the photos do look good. Autofocus is very like jumpy, and it's just hard when autofocus is old like that, you know, like it's never kind of great. But it's a very cool, sort of interesting, quirky camera. So I'm happy to own it, even if I don't use it again. And then the Canon ML that you have, which I was so excited to buy.
Yep.
But I think it has some issues, Matt. It's like
what?
when every sort of like maybe 6th or 7th shot, it'll take 2 photos. Like I'll push the shutter and it'll take 2 photos. I thought it was me being a bit heavy handed or something,
trigger heavy, Lucy.
Because I am very like, you know, hard on things. But
are you spray That's expensive with film.
Yeah, it's too expensive to do that. But yeah, so it takes 2 shots. So when I got the rollback, I was like, oh, so annoying, because like so much is wasted. And also the like so many of my shots were out of focus. Like a lot.
Yeah, that is a thing. Like when I first shot my roll with the Canon AF35ML, there's lots of very similar models. I've got one on the shelf up there somewhere. But this is one of the point and shoots with one of the fastest lenses ever, the f1.9 lens. So amongst the Canon ones, you can't mistake this for any other model because it's the f1.9 one. So same with me. Like this came out in the very early 80s, or was it late 70s or early 80s? Early 80s, I think it was. I can't remember.
It looks kind of 80s. Like looks similar to the L35, like that.
Yes.
So chunky, like
But the autofocus is not like not like late 90s, early 2000s autofocus. And it can, you've really, in certain situations, it doesn't, I don't think it performs that well. You've almost got to, I don't know, you've almost got to wait for it to sort of, I think there's a way you've got to really make sure when you press that shutter that you've got, you know, your subject right on the dot in the middle or whatever, because otherwise you just won't get it.
You won't get it. Yeah. I found when I shot yours, when we did that video together, like you
did pretty well then.
Yeah, but I think that was I didn't. There was a couple, but I think that's because we were shooting outdoors, like bright sun.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, I mean, that's how I shoot a lot. So I'm always like, oh, I have no issue with this camera. And then other people say they do. But with this, to test this roll, I shot it like indoors at a restaurant, inside the house, like, you know, when you're just doing the, like, I'm going to take pictures of things in my house to finish this roll off. Like that kind of, you know. So I think that might have been maybe why. But yeah, just a lot of like, and it doesn't matter if they're subjects further away or if things were close up. It just didn't, like a lot of out of focus shots, more than half the roll.
Were mainly portraits, which has really annoyed me because I had a beautiful one of my daughter in front of a tree and she's completely blurry and the background's in focus, even though like most of the frame is my daughter and it's just completely like that. But I'm just reading here, it's a 1981 camera. It was Canon's second autofocus camera. Autofocus very much in its infancy.
Fair enough.
It is a little bit finicky, you know. It's not it's not like your Canon SLRs of the 90s, which were bang, 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 you know?
Yes. So unfortunately, I'll try it again, but, you know, I'll see. But I was very excited because I've always wanted that camera. So but, and then we got that.
You tried to steal mine when I met you, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I was like, I'm just going to run away with this.
No, you didn't really.
Slip it in one of my pockets. But and we got the 40 millimeter. Like a little kangaroo
in your pouch.
And we got a 40 millimeter pancake lens as well. And put it on.
I've always thought that if you have a Canon SLR from the late 90s and you put a 40 mil pancake on, it's just as good as a point and shoot.
As good as a point and shoot. Is it really, Matthew?
No, that's one of my as Lux knows, WideLux, as we're now calling him. It's now one of my pets hates is when people ask for a recommendation for a point and shoot and people will say, just get a Canon SLR and put a 40 mil pancake up. That drives me nuts because they're so, like, I love Canon SLRs. I was my first serious camera. When I got into photography, I bought 2 Canon SLRs, the EOS 500N. So I love them. But to suggest that you can grab one and put a pancake on it and it's a point and shoot, like, you know, as small as another point and shoot.
Yeah.
It's just not, you know, it's a fantastic
ridiculous
camera, but
Yep.
not the same.
Yes,
Sermon
very
over.
true. That's on the record. You've cleared that one up. It's not
truth.
There's some truth. Well, I'm pretty sure Locke's got it just to come and show you on your stand to make a joke. And I was like, that's a pretty expensive joke to be making. But
did he really? He only bought it. Well, you know.
Well, I mean, part of it, yeah.
And then Molly, I was watching Molly's Lomo 92 video, and that's what she used.
Yes,
she used,
interesting. Yeah.
with a pancake.
With a pancake lens. Yeah. That's probably a good segue into talking about the Lomography 92. Is that what it's called? Lomo 92. That's the year I was born.
So. Wow. A very good year.
Good
good vintage.
Yeah.
Very good vintage. So now vintage, Lucy Lumen.
I know they're like these retro 90s. I'm like, hey, that was the year I was born. Like, I'm getting old.
But it's funny. Do you associate with the 90s? Because like I was born in 74, and when I see everything that happened in 74, I'm like, I don't remember. Like I'm more associated with like the 80s because I was cognizant of what was going on. I remember the culture and the movies and the toys. So I'm more associated with the 80s, even though I was born in 74. Is that the same with you? Do you?
I would, I would say, I don't know. It's probably. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think with me, because there wasn't really too much to sort of define the early 2000s. There was, but it wasn't like all the other eras where like you had a specific thing kind of going
year 2000.
on.
Not much has changed. But they live underwater. Was that 3000? But maybe I'm getting my millennia wrong there. Do you know that song? Don't know that song, do you?
I don't know if I know that song. No, okay. You might be aging yourself yet again on.
I heard there was a 30th anniversary of is it Smashing Pumpkins? Is it Siamese Dream?
Yeah, it probably is. Maybe I didn't see that on anything, but it might be 30th anniversary. Okay, oh, that's nice.
My ears started bleeding, and
you were like, oh,
horrible music. Anyway, what were we talking about?
So the 90s for me, it was sort of, I mean, I think of like the Spice Girls because I was, like towards like the end of the 90s, I was like a child and I remember things, but I'm not sure if I actually remember them or if they're just things that I've seen now that I think I remember. Do you know what I mean? I feel like for people now, you kind of, you have these like fake connections with things because you see them online so much. Whereas back in the day when you didn't have the internet, you'd actually have to like experience something. So sometimes I feel like I've seen a movie because I've seen so many memes about it or whatever. And then it's actually like, I'm like, oh, I actually haven't seen that movie, or I actually don't really know about that. I just sort of have these like little morsels from the internet and it creates this like vibe that you have. So it's a strange memory. Sort of thing. Yeah. It's like this implanted internet memory. Like,
well, I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want, Lucy, it's some new color film. And Lomography have come up trumps out of nowhere.
They have, yes. So I didn't know anything about this. I did get a little email from Lomography that I saw and I was like, oh my God. And then I started seeing everyone popping up shooting it and obviously the announcement and everything. So what are your first impressions other than obviously being excited about it?
Well, I went and ordered some straight away. I was pretty excited. I really like the look of it. It's a lot of chatter online about people saying, the majority of people online seem to think this is made by Orwo. Now, if it was made by Orwo, I would, even though this is shipped by Lomography, if it was Orwo, I wouldn't have bought it because this is a bit of a segue, but last June, Lucy Lumen, I haven't really spoken about this a lot, but last June, you definitely know, I put an order in for 20 rolls of Orwo NC500. There was production delay. It was supposed to ship 1 month later, production delays after production delays. In getting to January where they said it was the Royal Mail, they couldn't ship it because the Royal Mail was having a cyber outage or something. In February I asked for my money back, no one replied. In the end, what I had to do is I had to go to my credit card company and ask them to dispute the transaction, and in the end I've had my money back, but the credit card company is still pursuing it. I believe it's been pretty stressful. So after all of those issues with Orwo, I know some people got their film. There's a lot of people who didn't get their film. So after all that, that company, don't even want to say their name again, but they are like that for me. And I
bet that's very disappointing. So there was more than just you that didn't get the film.
If you go on that company's social media, like their Instagram, if you go on there and look at the comments, there are so many people who said, I never had my film, I've never had my film, where's my film? and they turned off direct messaging on Instagram.
Oh my God.
They turned
That's
off.
really bad. Like, just be transparent and just come out and say, because I feel like people, especially if they want something like we do want film, if you just let people know, this is how long it's going to be, or like, I'm really sorry, or offer people the chance to refund and you know, or like we'll put an extra roll in or just something, but to just kind of go silent and put your head in the sand is not a good way to go.
Because it was like, I only ordered that many 20 rolls because the shipping was expensive, and so you try and order as many as you can.
Make it worthwhile.
But they never delivered it, and so in the end I disputed it when they refused to respond to me after the course of 6 weeks, and with my emails and my request for a refund. I know other people got refunds, and when they didn't do mine, I just went to my credit card company, and hopefully they've sorted it out now.
Very frustrating.
Really disappointing, especially after ADOX had such a good launch in 2022 and Cine still.
Well, I'm sure that Lomography, this won't be happening with Lomography, because Lomography are legit.
Yeah. Can you just fill in 10 seconds or so for me?
Yes, of course. So I have seen the shots online, and some of them I'm really liking. Some of them I'm like, oh, that doesn't look as good, but you know, obviously that's down to like lighting, you know, the photographer, like the camera, like all those sorts of things. But it's described as a grainy, low saturation, retro looking film. And when I think about the film stocks that I like, grainy, low saturation aren't the things I'm looking for. So I don't feel totally drawn to it. To me, it looks a little bit sort of Metropolis-y sometimes. Like it's got that kind of cold sort of look, or like it looks a bit expired.
The images that I saw, by the way, can you let me know? Matthew Photo Dudens is saying that I'm not very loud, so let me know if you can hear me okay, guys.
Okay, you sound fine to me, but maybe
that's good. So it looks like the first few shots look really good, look very pastel-y and really nice colors, but then when in other people's photos it looks a little bit desaturated, or I'm not sure what. So if it was fitting the Metropolis vibe, then you'd think, okay, maybe it is a stock from that company I just mentioned before. But in other shots, the colors look very rich. It looks more like ADOX. You know, it looks almost like ADOX Color Mission in some shots.
Okay, I don't think I've seen these. I don't think I've seen those shots. The shots that Raphael 2071 photo, I think his handle is on Instagram. He's really nice. He lives in LA. He's done the photos for the box and all of those like promo photos, and they look banging. Like they look really good.
Yeah.
And Sissy Lou, like the New York photographer, she posted a reel. Some of hers look good, and some of the colors in that, the reds and the blues, did look quite nice. But it was very grainy, and just had that real kind of like it reminded me of Metropolis. So I wasn't loving it, but I mean, we haven't seen, you know.
So I've just shot a roll of that Showa camera film, which is Metropolis, which I've got a YouTube video on my channel about it. But to me, like the images that I've seen, like especially the first few in the email they sent out, they don't look like that to me. They look way more saturated. They look more like ADOX Color Mission. But hey, it could just be the actual photo, you know, false memories and things. I don't know, but to me it looks pretty good. So I bought some rolls. Hopefully they'll be here maybe in time for next weekend's shooting. So
okay. And I saw that's exciting and good on you for supporting it. I saw a comment on the post that Lomography made about it from Shoots with Coops, who's a YouTuber over in Perth.
Yep.
And I think I've got the amount right here, but someone can correct me. He said, this is really exciting, you know, awesome. But he said, I'm converting it and then putting the shipping, it's 117 Australian dollars for 3 rolls, which is a lot. Like that's nearly $40 a roll. That's like Portra, you know, 800 kind of like spec prices. Like
so Lomography only
kind of putting me off as well.
It's expensive. I mean, Lomography only ship out of USA, Europe, and Hong Kong. So here in Australia, we go to the Hong Kong region. So the standard postage is something like 35 US dollars or something crazy like that. So if you want to get your money's worth, you order quite a bit, you know, or if you order over a certain amount, you get free shipping. So that's what you need to do. I mean, but then again, like all films expensive these days. So, I mean, I don't mean to do too much of a segue, but I did buy myself a early birthday present, Lucy Lumen. So
Oh.
this was the film. I just did a video on my channel. Is there any film left in Japan? Because I went on the hunt for this film, Fujicolor 100. Back in the day, I don't think this was anything particularly amazing or incredible, but now it's like one of the very few last films you can get. I actually saw some from Walkins. Darren in Melbourne let me know that he got some. So I went into Walkins and got 5 rolls of this. And this was, I think this was $22 Australian, which is about 15, $16 US a roll.
Yep.
And I guess if you went back a few years and said, hey, I just paid $15 US for this, no one, they would say, well, that's a $5 US a roll film. So I think everything's just gone up so much that paying 15 to $20 US for a roll of color negative now is
it's kind of par for the course.
Yeah,
I feel like everything in life is like that at the moment. Keegan has just commented, he was at the camera fair and he's saying, gotta love that Australian shipping and conversion rate. Yes, it's
for sure.
It's always a killer here more, I feel, because then you've got to get it over here and you're like, oh, so annoying. But yeah, I'm not sure that I haven't bought any. I think I'll leave it because I would rather wait for Ikigai to get film in and spend, buy some Fuji, 400 for $16 or whatever that is.
Yeah, Superior is a good buy.
Or Ultramax. I've been liking Ultramax lately. So I'd stick with those and kind of,
The other thing is with ADOX Color Mission, it was almost like slide film in that you had to get the exposure right. You couldn't wildly underexpose or overexpose. And so I'm looking at some of those test shots and some of the shots I've seen of this Lomo 92 film, and I'm thinking, I'm not suggesting well, some of them do look underexposed actually in some of the shots, and they don't look that good. And I'm wondering if that's just because of the light, the photography. I think that was shot last December, which is Northern Hemisphere winter. I think perhaps that's a factor in that. ADOX Color Mission, you shoot ADOX, for me, you shoot ADOX Color Mission when it's nice and sunny and bright and you get those rich colors. And I think that even says that in the description of the email, like, go out and shoot and you'll get lovely rich colors. And if it's overcast, you'll get more muted colors. So I don't know, my bet, and I'm hoping this is an ADOX film, not from the other company.
That we will never speak of again on the Analog Hour.
No.
I agree with you. I think because when I shot ADOX, I had I really liked that film. I loved it, but I shot it bright, sunny. I think we were talking the other day and you said I think that Lomo 92 will go all right in Queensland conditions.
Everything goes all right in Queensland.
And we were like, everything goes well in Queensland when you're shooting. Like people like often reach out to me and they're like, how do you get like these colors, or how do you get like, in terms of my photography? And I'm like, I really can't take any credit. It's like literally just the sun that we have, and we have it like all year round pretty much too. We're very beautiful. Lucky.
They say so that in Queensland, if you stick a feather in the ground, you'll grow a chicken. It's just
Is that what they say?
Well, my uncle says that. My uncle lives in Melbourne.
I have never heard that before.
My uncle lives in Melbourne, so he's a Victorian now. He's converted to being Victorian. He's a lovely chap, my uncle, but he is a Queenslander at heart. And he used to say that. Stick a feather in the ground to grow a chicken.
That's, you hear something
because our land is so fertile with beautiful sun and soil.
Yes, that's true. It is. We're very lucky. So that kind of outweighs the shipping and all that. We're lucky in that way. I think photographically.
I'm excited for Lomo 92. I think it'll go all right. Like so a lot of these test shots, even the test shots for a lot of films I find underwhelming. Like,
so do I. I'm like, why didn't you give that to us in Queensland? Because we'll make it look really good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If you're listening, Lomography.
Should we throw to the comments? Should we go through that? By the way, but when you covered for me before, I'm sorry, viewers.
Oh, no, that's okay. Kind of you're a bit stuffy. Yeah, that's okay. You're only human, Matt.
I know. What can I say? I'm a mere mortal.
You may be a YouTube star, but you're still only human.
I'm not even a YouTube star.
So we've got Julius. Hello, nice to have you in here. He's in Brisbane. Extra points for the Pingu camera if it goes noot when firing the shutter.
Well, only when you do it manually though. You got to manually do the noot yourself.
Matthew Joseph saying finish the roll in the Fanta
Yes,
camera. Is
I
there a
have
Fanta
finished the roll.
camera?
I've got a Fanta camera up here at Photo Dude. Matthew Joseph very kindly sent me, and I have
Oh,
finished the roll.
lovely.
I think I put my fingers in a couple of the shots, which is a bit of a rookie area with toy cameras.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shoot another roll, and then I'm going to do a review of it.
Okay, nice.
But I'm also going to shoot another roll in Pingo because I don't, you know, sometimes you're just filling a camera out. You don't feel like you got the best out of it.
Yeah.
So
you want to give it another go. And Wilma saying, love your accent, Lucy. Oh God. My accent's been getting a lot of comments on Instagram lately. Like,
really?
I mean, sorry, not on Instagram, on YouTube. Yeah. Just, you know, more and more. People love it. People hate it. I'm like, I can't do anything about it, guys. I'm sorry. You know?
Yeah.
Terrence, hello, thank you for joining. Morning from sunny LA.
Hello, Terrence.
Please let Matt know that Naomi Silver Sultress sent me a lovely care package from Your Woods, including a copy of Matt's Japan 35mm zine. Oh, that's lovely.
So it was lovely at the Brisbane Camera Fair. I think I sold 7 copies of my latest zine, 35mm Japan. Still on sale. I got about 15 copies left. So most of them are gone, but there's still 15 left. And yes, Naomi said she was going to buy one and send it to Terrence. And so I'm so glad that you enjoyed it, Terrence. And thank you so much, Naomi, for buying not 1 but 2 copies of the zine.
That's really lovely. Yes. Let's touch on the camera fair a little bit. It was really fun. That was my first time going, and a couple of people in the comments were there, Keegan, and I had a few people like come up and be like, Lucy, and then like talk, and it was really
touch you in real life.
Like, I don't know, I felt so famous, but like it was weird, but it was really nice to like talk to people in person because everything is online and we don't have that kind of crew like they do in all the other, like in America when you see them all together and stuff. So it was really nice to like talk to people IRL and have a little chat. It was really good, and it was fun to just be with a group of people who, even if you don't know them or they don't know you, you're just around all of the, I think you said nerds, which is kind of true,
absolutely.
But like, you know, just people who love like what you love. It was very very exciting. And there was like a room in the back that people were calling like the VIP room, and it was just a guy, and he had his whole.
Is that where you were hanging out, Lucy?
Well, I was actually like, I want to get out here. It's very un-Lucy Lumen. It was like 2 guys. They had like one long table.
Yeah.
They had their whole own room out the back there.
So that was.
They weren't in with all the plebs.
Do you know who that was?
No, I don't.
That was Australian viewers will know this. Australian listeners. That was Peter Rambo. So his name is Peter Kay. I can't pronounce his last name. I probably could if I saw it, but he's a well-known Sydney camera dealer who sells amazing stuff. You'll know if you've ever seen on the Australian Film Photographers Facebook group, he always ends these things by saying, you know, you can inspect at my house, Brighton near Brighton, Los Angeles. He's got a very set thing he says at the end of every.
That he signs off.
But he's got like tons of Leicas, X-Pans,
Mamiya
7s.
Yes, he had all of them there, like all the
Contaxes,
all like, and they were all just like in a row, like all the cameras that everybody like lusts after and like might not buy in their lifetime. So we were all
Mini-Lux.
And
Mini-Lux.
He has a WideLux.
You've got a Mini-Lux. We've got a
Mini-Lux. Yeah. He's not so
but
mini,
your Lux isn't really a WideLux. By the way, people, I wasn't being mean to Lux. Lucy,
it's actually quite broad. So
handed me that joke earlier.
Yeah, we were waiting. We were like, oh, Matt will definitely make that joke.
No, I didn't have anything go to me.
But yeah, so it was really fun because I got to hold. Well, it wasn't fun. I was actually really anxious, and I held a couple of the, you know, like an X-Pan and a Leica and stuff like, which I'd never actually been in the company of. So that was a fun experience as well. It was worth going just for that. But
it wasn't as big. I had a stand there 2 years ago, and I went last year as I went in a hoodie and a mask because COVID was running rampant this time last year, and it wasn't as busy as either of those years this year, which I found really interesting. The other thing is, I think I made about $900. Australian, which is about 600 US, which was good. But
that's not bad.
Basically, if you're going, I buy point and shoots, right, for cheap, and I film test them, and then I sell them, and I make between $20 and $40 a camera, right, if I'm lucky. Okay, sometimes the cameras break and I lose my investment, and you know, so basically I sell cameras. I don't sell dirt cheap cameras. I make sure they work, right? But when you go to a camera fair like that, people are selling cameras for anything. Oh yeah, I put a battery in, it works. And so basically none of my cameras sold because they were too high, because compared to everyone else selling those cameras. And the other thing is very related to this. I used to put up a point and shoot for say 80 US dollars, you know, tested, you know, 90s point and shoot, great condition case, you know, everything. And I would get 20 or 30 people on Facebook Marketplace ping me within a few hours. Now I might get 5 people within a month. Like,
wow.
I don't think the young
kids drop off.
I don't think the young kids are buying film cameras anymore because they haven't been able to get film, or the film's gone up. So I think there is definitely been a correction in, you know, the secondhand market, maybe because of the cost of living. But I think that's another reason as well why there wasn't just as many people there. I think a lot of people are going, well, can't afford it. Or film's too expensive now.
I think it's the accessibility with the young people, because I actually think that because of cost of living prices, I think that young people who, you know, still live at home maybe are the ones that can afford to shoot film because they don't have all these expenses. Like if I think about me now versus me when I was just me and I didn't have anyone to provide for, you know, it's like I was buying things all the time because I was like, oh, I don't have, and I'm not bothered about saving. I'm not thinking about the future. Like I'm not, you know, all these things. So I think the young teenagers, they're willing to do it because they just want the look, and that's what they see someone do it. They want to do it. But I think it's the accessibility of, or like not being able to buy a film, that they're like losing interest, and they're thinking, oh well. And I also think the digicam thing is another option to kind of get that sort of nostalgic look, or it's a thing that they're seeing celebrities do now. And that's like somewhat more, like, I mean, it's somewhat more affordable, I suppose, or like, you know, it's a one-time thing, but they have shot up as well. And they can be kind of just as irritating as well, because if you don't know, like I get young people messaging me, but I'm like, but you know, does it have the cord, or you know, like all those kind of things. So but it's definitely dropping off, I think.
And it's funny, just like, as I was saying, like, you know, film's been hard to get. All of my film went. I had about maybe 20 rolls and 20 packs of film. All of my film went. I had expired film. I know I had more than that. I probably had 30. I had expired film. I had fresh film. All of my film went within an hour. Like even the Polaroid. Like I've tried to sell a Polaroid before that I bought, like, because I buy in bulk, and sometimes I don't always want to use it all. Even the Polaroid, like everything went. All the film went, and all the cameras got left. It was really weird.
Yeah, people are really like, wanting the film more than the cameras. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel that. I get stressed every time we shoot through, especially because I've been shooting for work as well. I'm like, I need to like stock up. So I have enough for work and then enough for personal shooting
Lucy
as well.
Limon's down at Kmart waiting for the color plus to drop.
I know. I'm always like, Daniel was like, maybe you could like get in with someone and give them your number, and then they'll call you and they'll let you know when it's. I'm like,
have a contact at the Kmart loading dock. Kmart Rabina loading dock.
Put my hood up and go in, and
I'll give you a free sticker if you give me the intel.
It's getting very like that. But let's talk about the WideLux camera. The exciting announcement from Silver Grain Classics, which I just want to just shamelessly say that I haven't received the issue yet, because it's coming all the way to Australia, so it'll probably take a while. But I feature in this issue of Silver Grain Classics. I did. It's part of their virtual connections section where they interview, or they get an internet sort of personality from star, if you will, to write a little piece about how they feel about film photography. And then there's a couple of my photos and stuff in there. So I'm really excited to see it because it's my first sort of in-print feature in that way. And they said to me, like, you're going to be really excited to be in this issue. And then obviously now that we've seen this issue, Jeff Bridges is on the cover. So I keep joking saying like,
how did he beat you?
Basically I'm like, I don't know why you chose him. No, but I'm joking saying that, you know, me and Jeff, you know, like we're friends now because like we're both in the same magazine.
I think, you know what I think you should do? This would be a great test for your photographic and graphic design skills. You know, Jeff Bridges has got a big beard, hasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he does.
So does Lux. You should dress Lux up as Jeff Bridges with some kind of panoramic camera. Do your own Silver Grain Classics. Yeah, exactly.
The affordable, the recession.
Yes, like version. The Wish version of Jeff Bridges. That's mean because we all know Lux is better than Jeff Bridges.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Spicy. I'm really excited because when I had the exhibition, like at Unstable Lights, I was obviously really excited because Joel Meyerowitz was in it, and I was telling my parents, and they didn't know who Joel Meyerowitz was.
Yeah.
And then they just didn't care. Like, well, they cared, but they were like, we don't know who that is. Whereas they know who Jeff Bridges is. So
yeah,
I can flex to the family and be like, hey,
that's right. That's right.
So it's very exciting. But anyway, let's talk about the camera because it's about the camera. So they've announced that they're already at the prototype stages of this camera. So it sounds very promising. And I would assume that because it's being backed by Jeff and Susan, his wife, that,
We've
there's
got a
going to
few
be
bob in the bank.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not your average Joe in his garage just trying to get this thing going on Kickstarter. Yeah. So I feel like it will happen. It seems promising, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think good luck. More film cameras in the world is a great thing. I mean, I think I'm the least excited person I know about it. I mean, I hope it's a success, and I think it's great that people are excited about it.
Yep.
I'm more excited about what Pentax Ricoh are doing.
Oh, of course. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of what it like this what it means for film photography, in that we have had the Pentax announcement, and then now Silver Grain Classics are able to kind of do this and show that film is very much alive, and it's not like the dark days. I think that's exciting. I'm not excited because I wouldn't want the camera anyway, because it's not my vibe. But I think it's cool. I like the story behind it. Like, obviously Jeff Bridges used it, Stanley Kubrick used it, and I think on those movie sets, like that kind of panoramic view, it works really well. But like for me, who's not on a movie set,
You've also got Mint
with the tight crop.
You've also got Mint in Hong Kong, who make the, like a lot of the Instax and Polaroid cameras. Well, they don't make the Polaroid cameras; they refurbish the Polaroid cameras, but they make custom the Mint Instax Mini, Instax Square, Instax Wide cameras. So Mint are also looking at a new camera. Which looks very much like the Roll. Oh yeah, it looks very much like the Rolly 35.
Okay.
So it's interesting.
Is that the little one?
The tiny little one.
The tiny little one. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think I heard a few years ago on a podcast people saying like, no, that basically someone predicted. I can't remember who it was. But they predicted like no company is ever going to get back into, like Fujifilm are ever going to get back into mass production of film cameras, but you will get these very niche companies, who are those people who make the large cameras? Is it Intrepid?
Intrepid,
and companies like that. You'll get these niche companies and Cameradactyl, and you'll get these niche companies making cameras for people who want them. So it kind of almost, the Silver Grain Classic one, the Mint one, it almost fits the vibe of those sort of things where there's maybe a few thousand run of a camera for people who are really interested in it. It'll be interesting to see if, hopefully Pentax Ricoh, Pentax actually unveiled a prototype, by the way, this week as well.
I saw really briefly on Tokyo Camera Style. Is that right? Yeah. What is it? John, I don't know. I can't remember. John Seipel. That's it. I saw his post, and there was a little like what looked like a prototype. I remember getting distracted and I couldn't finish reading it, but yes, very exciting.
So there you go. I probably wouldn't buy I've never been tempted to buy a normal WideLux. I was looking at a Horizon once. The Horizon's got the swing.
The
Horizon
swing,
2 got swing lenses. I was looking at one of those ones, but I never parted with the cash. So let us know in the comments if you would buy one. Who are you excited for? Are you excited for Silver Grain Classics and the WideLux? Are you excited for what Mint are doing with their Rolly 35, or are you hanging out for Pentax to bring those out?
Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. I'm probably agree with you that I'm most excited about the Pentax announcement, but I still think it's really cool, and I want to always be positive about sort of any kind of like announcement in that arena, because it's a good sign. And sure. I think this is very, very cool, and I was very honored to be a part of this issue with this announcement, and to be in there with Jeff. Hey, indeed, Jeff, if you're listening, so also I was going to say, do you think that the price point of the WideLux will be quite high? Like I would assume, because I don't think they're making like a plastic camera. Like they're going to make like a, a metal or a like it's going to be,
well, the thing, I mean,
I would say
You wouldn't have
so.
thought it's going to be cheap. I mean, to manufacture one. I mean, how much would it cost? How much? I don't know how much they even cost on eBay or a normal WideLux, let alone a reimagined one. I mean, I don't know. Does anyone know how much these things even cost?
I think they're pretty like pricey, and I would say that this is going to be pretty pricey. It's not going to be an accessible. So it's kind of another, like when the like the Leica camera, that wasn't accessible, and this probably won't be super accessible, but like you say, it's going to feed that small niche of people. And when you're making something, you want to know that people want it, and I think there are a group of people who will want it, and it's great. So congratulations to the team over at Silver Grain Classics for that. Should we talk a little bit about Instagram threads, Matthew?
Sure. Should we check in with the comments first?
Okay, let's check in with the comments. Yes, good idea.
So 1 month 2 cameras says the other thing about Color 92 is labs don't yet really know how to scan it. So it'll be interesting to see how the profile of it evolves.
So true, Ali. Yes, that's very true. Yeah, you're not familiar with it yet, so you haven't really got that sort of down. Yep, that's a factor.
Keegan Byrne is still dreaming of that X-Pan from the Premium Lounge. Yes.
Premium Lounge.
Peter Kay has got some very nice toys. They call him Rambo. Rambo's cameras.
Okay, I haven't heard of him. So I think because I'm not on Facebook, that's why.
Probably. Yeah. Gab Gallant. Hello, Gab. Gab ordered a copy of my 35mm Japan zine, and it arrived this week on the West Coast of the USA. So thank you much to Gab and everyone else who bought one. And Gab says, my lab finally got Color Plus, ordered 6 rolls. Great, because we've had Color Plus. We've had a rich river of Color Plus running through Australia the last couple of years, haven't we, Lucy?
That's so poetic, man.
Oh well, that's what I do.
Yeah, we have, but it's the river's run dry now.
The well is dry. And it was $6.50 US a roll here, 10 Australian dollars. But they I haven't seen any in Kmart for a long time. I haven't actually ever seen any in a store in Kmart. You can only get, I've only ever got it online, but it's now gone up to $14. So that inflation's hitting Kmart as well.
It is, and apparently there's Ultramax in Woolworths, which is like our grocery store. Yeah, and it's like $50 for 3 rolls and
24 exposures. Oh, don't even talk to me about that.
I know. I'm like, I don't want to see this, Woolies.
I wouldn't set it on fire. I wouldn't, wouldn't bother with 24 exposures. Come on.
The only thing, sometimes I have been using 24 exposures for I put it in my half frame camera, and then it's not so much.
You only get 12 exposures out of that?
What?
That was a joke.
Don't do this, because literally, like, I am so bad at maths, and anyone could tell me anything, and even though I know it's wrong, I'll be like, I'm clearly wrong, so I'll just go with what you've said. So
no, I just shot a roll of my pen FT, and I really know I shot a roll black and white, Lucy Lumen.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah, so I had a roll sent to me. I don't know where it is now, but it was Svima out of the Ukraine, black and white film.
Okay.
Some mysterious person through Facebook was giving away film rolls. So I've got to go back and thank that person by email and in Facebook. But I shot it through my Pen FT and got 72 wonderful images.
Nice. Yep.
And see that Pen FT, like
it's so shots, good.
It's so good. I was using the 42mm lens, and some of the shots of the kids up close, I obviously didn't get the minimum focus distance right. They're a little bit blurry. But man, like, that is a sharp camera. Hey,
it's so sharp.
Good camera.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful camera.
It's really nice. I've got a few issues with mine though. And I used it on a job, and such a nightmare. It keeps kind of like jamming, like the advanced. Lux says it's because I like just hook it too hard. Like, I'm just like, he's like, you need to slow down and just, this is a 60-year-old camera.
I've got a strapper on mine, and sometimes when I wind it on, I get the strap jammed in the wind on, and I've had a couple of frames overlap, but mine's gone okay.
Yeah, okay. I had a few, like overlapped kind of frames and like double exposures that I like didn't intend to have, and my counter stops at 52. So I'm kind of like just kind of guessing or feeling for like, so a lot of issues, but I still use it because it's great. But I used it on a job, and I was like really worried, and then I had all this trouble loading another camera when I had to change rolls of film. And when I got the photos back from this job, Pete from Ikigai was like, the expired roll came out all right. And I was like, expired roll, what? Like, and then I realized I'd used a roll of Ultramax, and he said it was like probably 10 years, like, because it looked like the old Ultramax. And I was like, I don't even know how I have that in my fridge, let alone how that got in a camera to shoot like for work. But funnily enough, they liked those best.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, they were like, oh, these look really cool because it was like flashed.
It's like
Like I
Lomo
used the
92.
flash. Yeah, it's retro 90s. Just slap that on everything now. And they were, because I used the flash, but because it was expired, it sort of looked underexposed. So it's like underexposed flash. So very sort of disposable kind of, you know, like not a look. I preferred the other, like, you know, the rolls that I shot, but they liked that. So I was like, oh, it's so funny. And they love, like, people always love the double exposures. They love the mistakes, you know? So
here's a thing for you. Yeah, they love the mistakes. That's why AI will never take over, Lucy Lumen.
that's so
I watched a
true.
video. I watched a
Oh,
video
did you?
about that.
Did you?
Yes.
Some smart person told you that.
Yes. You know what you need to do. Here's a marketing opportunity for you. You need to do a roll of film, like you're gonna do Lux as Jeff Bridges on, like, you know, as
Oh yeah.
you
With
need
the
to do a
piano,
roll of
yeah.
Lucy 92.
Yeah.
Not Lomo 92, Lucy 92.
Lucy 92.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a great idea, Matt. Marketing genius.
Yeah, what can I say? And we've got a couple of comments in the comments here. It says Lux would probably shoot more like Alec Baldwin. Oh dear. Let's hope not. I don't know where that's come from.
What does that mean?
Isn't Alec Baldwin the one who was on the movie set with the gun and
oh yeah, he's had the I think I think so, because there's a few Baldwins and I get them all confused. Like there's a few, you know.
No.
No, there's
Well,
like I think there's 3 brothers. There's like they all look similar, and like one of them's in more funny kind of roles, and then one of them's in more serious roles.
Isn't that like Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, there's them, and then there's all the Arquettes. I always get the Arquettes, like, you know, I'm like, or I'm like, are they an Arquette? Or
there's those 3 brothers who I always get confused as well. Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
I don't know who that is.
They're ducks.
Oh. I don't know the ducks. I don't know what this is. No,
Donald Duck's nephews.
No, I don't know. That's too, like,
Huey, Dewey,
again.
and Louie.
No.
My kids know who Huey, Dewey, and Louie are.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
I was very, like, I didn't watch that many cartoons when I was a child. Like, I was always dying to grow up and be an adult, and I always wanted to watch the more kind of like adult shows, even when I was really young, like Daria. When I really wanted to watch Daria, like, so, you know. Anyway,
I think that the chat's gone quiet. I think we've stunned everyone into boredom or sleep. I think, Lucy Lemon.
Maybe they're just listening intently and enjoying.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't know. Maybe they are. So, what topic were we actually on?
I think we were going to jump to talking about Instagram threads in terms of like what it means for photographers. I'm not just going to add to the noise of talking about threads. I'm not trying to jump on a trend or get views. I just thought it would be good to sort of talk it out. And it's been, you know, first few days of the app. And we've both sort of jumped in there a little bit. And I thought it would be cool to talk about, how it's sort of faring for photographers. And like, if anybody wants to jump in the comments and let us know how they're finding it. Have you played around with it at all, Matt?
Yeah. So my initial thought was, I downloaded it, opened it up, and I thought it was very clever that at first I was like, why are they using Instagram? And then it became all very obvious, because when you go on, it says, hey, do you want to follow everyone you follow on Instagram? And I clicked yes. And I thought that's very clever, because it's a new social media platform, but you've got a built-in audience. Like that is very clever, a way of getting it going. And then throughout the day, I'd get pinged with all these, you know, so-and-so is now following you and you're now following them, because obviously when they joined the platform, then it automatically followed them and they followed me. But then it was a couple of weird things happened. Like I saw Lux joined, and I mentioned, I commented on one of Lux's threads. He mentioned you, and I went to your profile and I wasn't following you. So I was like,
oh, really?
Well, that's weird. Why am I? Yeah, I had to follow you manually. So I thought I was supposed to, like, when someone else joined, because I think you joined after me, that I was supposed to automatically. So it kind of makes you think, well, who am I not following?
Not following.
I should be, you know?
Yeah.
And then the first 24 hours I really enjoyed. And then after that, like the whole feed is just like brands and people, blue check marks next to them, big celebrities, mainly from the United States, and big brands, and like Netflix Australia, and like why am I on this for? This is just more noise to me. So I felt like, I think it's a long way off being a mature product. You know, obviously they're going to work on it, and you probably put hashtags on there and editing posts and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of very quickly went from, this is exciting, to like, I'm not really, this is just something else at the moment.
Something else. Interesting. I have only scrolled through a little bit, like what you're saying, kind of on the feed to look, and I was getting a lot of photographers that I follow over on normal Instagram
Yeah.
on there. And I was like, cool, like, you know, and then you can easily like repost their
Yes.
photos and stuff, which I like. But
Oh, are you there, Lucy Lemon?
because it's such a different thing to normal Instagram, is like I posted like a set of photos that were shot sorry, excuse me, on Riala, and the comments were like just so different to what I get on Instagram, where it's like people just, you know, give you a fire emoji, or they say like amazing, just sort of one word, and it feels a little bit sort of like, you know, with this I was getting like comments that were like feedback of like specifically what they liked about the photos, which one was their favorite. It was a lot more like conversation. Which I think is really valuable, and I think what a lot of people miss in the photography community, because they want to share their photos and then they want genuine feedback from people, you know, and like that kind of back and forth. So I have experienced that more on Threads, and I like that a lot more. And it's, like it seems more intimate in that way, whether that's just because it's just started, I don't know. But I thought that would be a good thing for photographers. And I like the fact that the photos aren't cropped as well. Like there seems to be more.
It's weird though, isn't it? Yeah, I agree. Like the photos aren't cropped, you get better, like you get the full aspect ratio. It's kind of weird though, isn't it? It's kind of like, hey, we're gonna do something to rival Twitter, because I believe that people from Twitter were involved in the development of Threads. But we're basically, what are they doing? They're cannibalizing their own app. Is it an admission that actually Instagram isn't any good anymore for photography, which is what the whole thing was meant for in the first place? So we've got to do this Twitter style thing, which is not just photography, it's everything, but it's based off a photo, the audience of a photo sharing platform. It's intriguing. I mean, I think it'll, you know, will it be the next big thing, you know, in 12 months time? Will it be the go-to platform, or will it be another app that everyone's forgotten about?
Yeah, that's another question. I think it is at risk of kind of being like the hot new thing, and then everyone gets sick of it and they just go back to what they know and have already kind of invested a lot of time into. But I like that someone's saying it's sort of like a mix of Twitter and Discord, which it does feel like that. So you can just post like a little thing that you're thinking like you would on Twitter. Or you can, you know, post some photos, so you can sort of do a hybrid of both. I just really liked it from the point of when I make an Instagram post, it takes me like forever, and that's probably me, but because I've been trying to be more considered with my posts lately, of like, you know, keeping it all in line with YouTube or like whatever's going on, and have a sort of schedule. So I'm taking it a lot more seriously, or like a reel, and then you've got to put all these things in, and I'm like, who do I need to tag? I have to add my location. What are my tags going to be? You know, I want to make sure that I'm captioning it so it's not just like shoving photos up and then complaining that no one's looking at them or engaging with them. So I make sure that I caption it in a way that really speaks to the community and gets them to, you know, to interact with it. So it's like more exciting for everyone. So all of that, like, I'm just like, oh my God, I have to sit down and do it. Whereas yesterday when I posted on Threads, I was like, you know, okay, cool. Hey guys, not really sure how to use this. Here's some photos that I took on Riala. Like, which one's your favorite? And then I got all this really like good quality engagement that I kind of don't get on Instagram. So I liked that I could just be like more right casual. Now I could, way more casual. So took the pressure off. And I think, Keegan has said like he likes the fact that it's not this more curated styled like thing where you've got to like really be very intentional. Like Instagram feels a lot more like showy than this Threads thing. Like the Threads thing does feel like Discord, where you're just kind of chatting a little bit more. And so I like that side of it.
Lux has put in the comments, I feel the same as Matt. See, great minds think alike, Lucy Lemon. I feel the same as Matt on Threads. Was good, but now getting spammed by random accounts. Needs a following only feed option. And for sure. I think they have, you know, they've released what they would call a minimum viable product. Get it out there, see what people think, and let's now re-engineer it based on user feedback. And then, hey, within 6 months, we should all be getting lots of nice ads on there. That's what it's all about, kids.
That's money. True. Do you know what though? I have a confession to make. Everyone hates ads and they're always complaining about ads, and obviously ads are annoying, but I really like a lot of the ads that I'm shown on Instagram. Because it's normally like it's either a photographer, like just a normal person who's like got like they've sponsored, and sometimes I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and then I follow them, or it's like a brand and I'm like, oh, I love this brand, I love their photography or their product.
Yeah.
Or it's a restaurant and I'm like, cool, found a new restaurant, or like a potential person that I could reach out to for work. And it just kind of like mixes it up. And I don't really feel, if they were ads for like, I don't know, white goods or things that I wasn't interested in, then I'd be annoyed. But I feel like they are kind of curated to the things that I've been looking at and
They were
following.
definitely targeted to
they
your
don't,
demographic. Hey?
and I feel like they do a really good job. So, but also I love ads in.
You're getting beanies, like film beanies,
and you know,
crochet jumpers,
overalls. I love that. Throw it at me.
Retro sunnies.
Yeah. And I always liked the ads in magazines too, like fashion magazines, like being a child, like, you know, people are, I remember like my dad said, you know, it's a waste of money because half of it's ads. But I'm like, I always loved the photography of the fashion ads in the magazines and would spend time looking at them more so than the actual content in the magazine. So I feel like I have maybe I've just been brainwashed. I don't know, but
it's definitely
I have a
beauty
good
in
relationship with
advertising
ads.
in some
Yeah, like there's creativity in it. It's not always like, you know, if it's some like Rugs a Million ad or like, I don't know, you know, like
Rugs a Million.
That's like, is that even a thing anymore?
I'm not into Rugs a Million. I'm Matt's a Million, like a Matt.
Oh my God, Matthew.
I get a lot of travel ads, and I get things like, you know, hey, we're doing a clinical trial in Brisbane for men over 45. We'll inject you with certain stuff to see what happens to you. Do you want to take part for $100? No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'll save my head.
I'd rather sit at home and do nothing.
I'll sell a point and shoot instead. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about the ads thing. And that's how I feel about threads. And I'm interested to see. I do acknowledge though, and my main issue with it is that it's another thing to check.
Yeah.
And keep up with. And I like to try and reply to as many YouTube comments as I can. And I like to try and keep up with my DMs. And so now I'm like, I've got to check this. Now I've got to check threads or what's happening on threads or someone, you know, so it's.
There was once a comedy sketch. I don't know where it was from, but it was like, you know, like on the TV news in the 90s, they'd be like, you know, here's our anchors, Matt and Lucy. And then on sport, we have Lux. And then on current affairs, we have Billy. And they would go through like 20 people who are anchoring the TV news. Like it was just ridiculous. Every single topic had a different presenter.
Had a different person,
you know, and it took them half an hour to do the intro to the news because it was so. I feel like it's like this now. Catch me on Substack, catch me on YouTube, catch me on Threads. I'm here on Twitter. I'm here on Lomochrome. I'm here on Flickr. It's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, it's you know, it's all a bit crazy, really, isn't it?
It is. It's a lot to keep up with, and like, you know, So I don't think anyone should feel pressured because, like, I am not on TikTok. Like I'm just not going to be on TikTok. I've opened it once and I was like, oh my God, and I closed it. And
it can be
I have nothing against it. It's just, and I know, like, I can't keep up with everything. So
I just don't have time. I've found lately, I've been so busy this year, I don't have time. Like I've got a decent following on TikTok. You know what? I need to set aside a whole day just to make TikToks because it's very hard to just do what you need to batch them.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
haven't done one in months. I don't think I've done one. I think I've done about 3 this year, which is crazy. But
I know it's a lot of pressure, and then at the end of the day, you kind of like, is this really like, is that important, or like, are there other things that you know I could be doing that are more enriching? So yes, Anthony has a question here, which I feel like I am probably not going to be able to answer, but maybe you will, Matt. He said, hey, hoping I can ask the film community on which lens I should get for my Bronica S2A. What's the Pentax 6.7 105mm 2.8 equivalent? Also, is the Granary app still worth it? Do you have an answer for the lens question?
No, I think it's Bronica. I think the P lenses. People help me out here in the comments. I think the P lenses are the really good ones. I've got a Bronica SQA, which is a really beautiful camera, amazing sharp pictures. I've just got a couple of standard lenses, like I've got an 80 and a 150. I can't remember if they're P lenses or not, but like I think anything on that is pretty damn good. Like compared to what you would get, say, with, you know, a run-of-the-mill SLR or point and shoot. I think, you know, with the Bronica SQA and its cousins and brothers and sisters, I think you get pretty good image quality no matter what you're using, because Bronica is quite, I think it's a little bit underrated in terms of medium format stuff.
Okay.
But
good
I don't know
what
ones.
I'm glad you were here for that one, because I don't shoot medium format and I don't have a Bronica or anything, so I'm not sure, but I'm sure someone in the comments will let you know, Anthony, or maybe like after the chat is up, check back, because someone will probably reply.
For sure.
And the Granary app, I did jump. Yeah, I did when it came out because I listened to the guy who started it on Analog Talk, and I was like, oh, really cool, like, but I just found, there were no ads, so I was like, where are my ads? No, I'm joking. But just it was all film photography, and that's cool. I love film photography, but I don't know. I I don't know if you
I did not know that. We're finding out all the big things here today.
Yeah, hot take on that. I love film photography. But I like to see all types of photography.
Yeah.
And often when I find an account, I really
indie grunge.
90s,
it's Lucy Lim and Bingo time.
Yeah.
Lucy Lim and Bingo.
Yeah, I want to see it all. And also it was that thing of like
but I want it now.
I want all the ads and I want them now. No, I just, I didn't want to have to start up again as well. You got to learn how to use a platform. You got to build an audience on it. I just was like, oh my God, I can't do this. So if you want to just hang out with like low sort of pressure, like just see other people's like film photography and hang out on there, then it's probably fine. And you've got the time to like set it up and all of that. But yeah, I was just like, I can't do this. But good on that guy for like trying to solve a problem and listening to people, because that's the thing. People complain about Instagram. And I saw someone had posted this, and then like they do threads and everyone's on there and they're like, oh, this shiny new thing that Instagram's doing, or people still use the platform, kind of like people complain on YouTube about, or they say like, oh, I'm so over like these hype videos about cameras or lenses. And then you put something else out that's totally different
and
to
no
that.
one watches it.
And no one watches it. And it's like, but that's what they're like, I want more photo walks, or I just want this, or I want that. And then you're like, cool. So you do that. And then like, it just kind of tanks. And then you do a video that's about a camera that you do like, and maybe you do put a little bit of mayo on it, and you like say it's the best thing ever. And then everyone watches it. Yeah. And but then everyone hates you for it. So it's kind of difficult.
It's done okay. I've done one called Tokyo Photo Walk. It hasn't, it's done okay. I quite like putting it together.
Maybe in time, I feel like that will probably do well in search. People will be like, oh, like, if they're going to Tokyo or whatever. So,
I have to apologize to everybody. I asked you earlier to cover me, and I've just seen, I've got the video live in another window here, and I'll just see me spin around to blow my nose. I'm sorry, guys. I'm streaming here today.
That's okay. That's all right. Maybe we should wrap it up soon, Matthew.
Whenever
I should probably because we've got the little one in his room, and he'll probably he's just locked in his room. He's with Lux, but like
he's an SLR kid. Just get on with it. Work out how to. You haven't got this loaded by the time I get back. No dinner for you.
Oh, the other day I got a new fridge, so that I could put my other fridge in the garage. This is relevant, and because we've got all our film in just the normal fridge, and it's like taking up a whole shelf. It's just not good. So did the swap around, but we had all the film out on a shelf.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's no way like Luca will be able to reach that. And like I was going to put it in. And he grabbed like one of those like cases, like those like Kodak cases, the like where you take the film out and you put it in the case. Those metal ones. And he took that into his room, and then Lux went down there and he was just ripping the film out of the canister. Like it was a 24 exposure roll, and then he was about to do it with another one, and it was just so funny. I wanted to get a photo, but I was like, oh my God, like don't touch that. So he was just like ripping out the film.
That's $80 your inheritance gone.
Oh, I know. I was like, oh, buddy. Anyway, what's is there anything else that you'd like to let everybody know, or is there anything coming up for you, Matt? Are you working on anything at the moment, or
not really? I'm just excited for this new film coming through, which I didn't even know about 2 days ago. Other than that, I'm actually heading back to Japan in November, Lucy Lumen.
For a solo trip, I believe.
For a solo photography adventuring trip.
Nice.
Yeah,
good for you.
So I picked up a very cheap flight. Jetstar are starting up from Brisbane to Tokyo. When we went in early in the year, we had to go by the Gold Coast because there was no Jetstar from Brisbane. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'll catch the autumn leaves.
Nice.
So I know Matthew Photo Duden's Joseph will be glad about that, because I love to, photograph pink flowers. That's one of my things, and cherry blossoms.
Yes.
And so I'll be photographing the autumn, the fall leaves,
The fall,
in
fall
Japan.
leaves.
So
And I
I'm
believe
looking forward to that.
Pete from Ikigai is going to be in Japan at the same time as
I
you.
think so. I think he's
Or like
going
there's some
the day or
crossover.
day after or something like that. Yeah. So it'll
Yeah,
be a very
cool.
popular time,
Yep.
which then gives me anxiety over when I get back, who's going to process my film.
Oh, yeah,
But I'm
you better
sure.
get back quick, smart, Pete. Yeah,
I know,
I'm
that's right.
getting worried about them closing it. Obviously
Yeah.
they'll close and that's fine. They need to have a break. But I'm like, yeah, who's gonna develop my film? But
I was tempted when I
yeah.
was there last time to get it like developed there, just like in the heat of the moment, but you just don't know, like, it's because I don't speak Japanese, trying to
Yeah.
work out what exactly you get and how long it would take, and what if there was a delay by a day, and
Yep.
it's all that
Oh
kind of stuff,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's probably safer to just bring it back. Yeah, but that's really exciting. Maybe there'll be another zine or something that will
Yeah.
come out of that, because you'll be on
Yeah,
your own, so you'll be able to really like go for it.
I think so. I think I'll really be able to get a lot more photography done. And there's a few things I wanted to do last time. There's a few places like Champ Camera I never got to go to in Yokohama, which they sell all sorts of cool film. So yeah, hoping to really get my fill of Japan. So yeah.
That's cool. And will you be doing like same sort of setup, taking digital and film like you did
Yeah.
this time?
So
Because you seem to like that.
I actually, my back and my shoulders, I think I told you this before, Lisa Lim, my back and my shoulders started killing me last time because I took my Fujifilm X-T5 and a big 50 to 140, but I've actually switched up my kit. I've sold quite a few of my Fujifilm lenses. I sold the 100 to 400, which is a big, massive monster.
Yeah.
And I bought this. This is an Olympus micro 4/3 camera, the OM1. It's called the OM1. So I actually got that lens for free with it. And this is a telephoto for it. It's tiny. So
that is small for a telephoto.
That is a 40 to 150, which is 80 to 300 f4 lens, pro lens. So I'm really looking forward to shooting with that. It's all weather sealed, and
oh, that's perfect.
I'm on the micro 4/3 train, Lucy Lemon, which is something I never thought I'd say. So
there you go.
Yeah, excited.
Never know.
Let me know. Drop me in the comments, or let me know by DM if you've got an Olympus OM system camera. I'm keen to hear from you.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's very exciting. I don't think I don't have to, well, I mean, I have like a million things on the go all the time, but I am waiting for my Silver Grain Classics issue. It's out now, and I think you'll be able to obviously read the article that I wrote in there, and then you'll get to read sort of more in depth about
Jeff
and his new WideLux camera. So very exciting. And I'm now offering portfolio reviews as well, and I have thoroughly enjoyed the ones that I have done recently. Been really cool. So if anybody wants like a second pair of eyes on their work, or like bounce, sort of like you've got a project going, or you just need help with like direction, or you want someone else to kind of like uncover a blind spot, definitely check them out. We'll link it below.
Excellent.
But yeah, I don't have too much else going on, just trying to keep up with all of the social media and my little one. But yeah,
and
busy.
We've just got the winter is in its main sort of push now, isn't it?
It is.
You look
Yeah,
forward
I'm
to
really
spring,
over it. Oh yeah, I hate winter. And it's not even winter. Like, I speak to people, in the DMs, and they're like, oh, that's like warm. I'm like, no, that's freezing.
It's cold in our it's cold in our, like, it's actually colder in winter in our houses than outside.
Oh yeah, same. It's freezing in
bizarre,
here. It's so cold. And then you go outside and you're like, oh, it's fun. So you can't be outside all day, you know. So yeah. But I'm excited for summer. I'm excited for I want some warmer weather. And we're hoping to book a trip next year.
Yeah.
Keeps getting pushed back, but yeah, I'm really trying to make that happen too.
Where's the top of your, I think we covered this last time.
Once you go to LA. Yeah. There's another thing I wanted to quickly talk about, if that's okay, Matthew.
Yeah.
Or do you have to go? Is that all right?
No, I got a good 15 minutes if you want to keep droning on.
So I got accepted into Head On Photo Festival in Sydney this year, which was very, very exciting. Thank you. It was part of the open program. So that was just an online exhibition, and then you get featured in their festival program, which is like a little book that's printed. And then there's, a smaller group of people that get offered a spot to feature physically in the actual exhibition festival. So there was a webinar, and it was really great information. All the people involved were really nice, and I'm very grateful to have like been chosen, but it's so expensive. Like, I thought that there was a submission fee to enter, like to submit the your photos.
Yep.
And then on top of that, even if you get accepted, it was like $295 to just be shown on the website. Like,
what hang
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've got to pay $295
Yeah.
just to get, so that's not an exhibition, like doing your own exhibition.
No. So that's just for your exhibition to be online. Obviously, it's, you're then affiliated with Head On Photo Festival, which is very, to my understanding, quite big. And obviously that may lead to things. But to me, I thought that that fee was if you wanted to then go on and do a physical exhibition, which you then have to pay for, which would be very expensive. They said, like, you could be looking at sort of, for a 2-week exhibition in Sydney in a gallery, you could be looking at sort of $5,000.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that, no shade on them at all. Like, obviously they have things to pay for and whatever, and they have it structured a certain way. But yeah, I just thought, like, I think the more I delve into the world of the art world of trying to get like, I want to have an exhibition, or I want to do this, I want to enter into that world and get off the online space.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. And to me, that makes it very closed off to a lot of people, and kind of,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
People, a lot of artists get scholarships and grants and stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah. They said you can apply for a grant, but you've only got 4 months. And even writing a grant, though, like, I've looked at that, and I'm like, that would be difficult for a lot of people. Like, you would need help. And I'm sure it's like how well you fill that out kind of.
For sure. There's actually people who write grants for people.
Yeah.
They're grant writers. And
it just all feels very kind of not like hoity-toity, but just kind of, and that was always my feeling around that kind of world.
Yeah.
And that's why I appreciate so much with Unstable Lights, because it didn't feel like that. Like, it was a lot more lo-fi DIY, and he fronted like the cost of everything, which was a huge undertaking for him.
We should do our own. Everyone. We should do our own in Brisbane or the Gold Coast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I feel like we need more things where, like, it is, obviously more kind of slapped together, like more lo-fi kind of vibe, but like accessible for people. Yeah, and isn't this big thing that they've got to enter into and spend all this money in, but they can still feel like, oh, my work has been shown on a wall, and people have come and looked at it physically, because that is what you want as a photographer. Like, I want that. But I don't want to pay, I don't have $5,000 to, or all the networking you have to do and who you know. And it just becomes very overwhelming and very not about the work, like about the, you know what I mean? So it's just a recent experience I had that I wanted to share, because I feel like also people don't talk about that. So then you don't know, and you're like, oh, is that normal? Or, so yeah, I think there's room for something. Yeah. That we could maybe do. We were talking about doing a photo walk in Brisbane, like a little kind of beers and cameras copy.
Yeah, let us know if you're in Brisbane or the GC and you'd be keen to meet up for a photo walk. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. We could host it and do it in
the spring, maybe, or
maybe when it's a little bit sort of warmer, but not too warm. Yeah. I was talking to Julius. He's in Brisbane. I was talking to him about it. So yeah, if anyone has any ideas or they think it sounds cool, definitely send us a DM and make some stuff happen offline. Would be cool,
IRL in the
IRL offline, off threads,
off threads,
Anyway, that was my closing statement.
Remarks.
My bones to pick with
with the art world,
All right, thank you so much, Matt. It was nice to see you and talk to you, and we'll have to do it again when there's more announcements or more things to go over.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely look forward to that.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining this live stream. If you're listening afterwards, thank you. I hope you enjoy it. And will you be uploading on the podcast in the sort of next few days?
Yeah, if you missed any of this will be going on Matt Loves Cameras podcast feed in I'll probably do it in about 3 days time, because we don't want to steal the thunder from the YouTube, the exclusivity of the YouTube. But I'll definitely do that. I'm trying to podcast more, because all the time, like I've had a few emails lately about the podcast, and people saying I really love it, and not everyone from the podcast goes over to YouTube, because I started as a podcaster. So I feel like there's definitely people who still listen to it when I do one, when I bother doing one, and I shouldn't neglect it. It's just hard though now, like because now I go, okay, what am I going to do a podcast about? I just did a video about that. Like, does that
I
translate
know
to a
it
podcast?
becomes, it becomes hard. Yeah. You feel like you're kind of repurposing things, but you do so well, I get, like I said, we're only human. We can only do so much.
Yes, you do. Lovely.
All right. Thank you, Matt. I will
Okay,
speak to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a good
everybody.
weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.